We've made it to Doha, 2 flights down, 1 to go. Will, how do you feel?
Oh, it's a pretty tiring flight. Pretty cramped up, but it's alright.
I had all 3 seats to myself. We slept on the side. Welcome back, YouTube fam, to another competition week. It's going to be a big one, settle in. You're going to get to see everything that happened in Cottbus, Germany. Starting from the gym that we got to train in right at the start, we came to Cottbus about 2 days earlier than any other country because it's just so far away and we need time to acclimatize. But check out this gym. There's one side for girls, one side for boys, and it's got everything you could ever need, including pit air track, pit tumble track, which was on the other side. You'll see me play on that a lot. What do you reckon, Sammy?
Not bad.
Not bad?
Not bad.
It's awesome. Hey. I think I must have played on the tumble track every single day. I thought that I would build up to triple-double, which probably you've heard is a big goal of mine. I've never done a triple-double backwards from anywhere. I've done it forwards from the trampoline, but not anywhere else. I want to do it backwards, at least off a air track or a tumble track, even if it's into a pit or anything. So the gym was awesome. We had lots of fun there. This is the competition gym. Our coach right there sitting in the middle was Tony from Penn State. No one in New Zealand was available for the trip, so obviously myself, I wanted to compete. But Tony came down with Ethan from Penn State. We got to see Ethan again. Missed that guy, and I think you guys would have seen all that in the last video where Ethan helps to narrate Coach's Corner. Yeah, it's been a long time. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I don't even know how long it's been, but it's Sunday morning today. I'm about to go off to a 360 camp at Counties, which is our national team program, so to speak. There's Cameron. Look at Pommel. Cameron, me and Cameron, we pretty much grew up together at North Harbour Gymnastics Club, and we went to the same high school. And Cameron these days is judging. And it was good to find out that Cameron is actually quite fanatic about gymnastics. He has this code of points. And you guys all know how, the named skills, there's a name underneath the skill in the box of the code of points. So Cameron went around to every single guy in the competition, including older people like Makut's. He's there, he's judging, and got them to sign off the box so that he got signatures underneath their skills. And he's really good at drawing. He's so good at drawing the actual pictures. I think it was Brody Malone's skill that wasn't in his version of the code of points. And when he showed me the picture, I thought it was the real thing. I couldn't tell the difference, but he had drawn it in black pen. I gotta take a picture later and put it on this vlog because it's actually worth a look. So me and Cameron were roommates in Cottbus. Me and Sammy had a game of stick on the first night. We came in so jet lagged, hence the dusty landings. Yes, I think we had about 3 or 4 days before we competed. I had an extra day because I competed on the last 3 apparatus. Qualifications was split up into 2 days. Floor pommel rings day 1, vault Piba high bar day 2. There was a lot of good guys there. A lot of guys that, go to world championships and make finals. Notably Milad Karimi from Kazakhstan. Me and Milad always have a few chats here and there. Milad did a kind of like what my skill is, the Gaylord full twist, but he did it like a pagan, and then he halved out to mixed grip. So he was asking me about, you know, the essence for a skill, because he can't get himself to do the twist like a Coleman. And then we're making jokes about who's gonna do 1.5 twist first. So it's on, me versus Milad, first to catch Gaylord 1.5 twist. Milad threw Kovacs to Coleman in the qualifications, which he didn't need to do, but that was really impressive seeing him and an Israeli guy, his name is Alexander Miakinian, do Coleman to Gaylord 2 in the qualifications. Now, the reason I was so impressed that they did in the qualifications is because they probably could have made finals without much trouble if they just did a clean routine without the connections. Yet they sent the connections and still hit them and made finals. So that goes to show that, you know, as much as there is a lot of guesswork, some of these gymnasts are getting Kovacs connections consistently. I don't think I saw Miakinian miss his Coleman Gaylord 2 a single time. He caught 2 out of 2 at Cottbus, 1 in the qualifications and then in the finals, and then he caught it again both times in Doha. So that's 4 for 4. Carlo Maccini, who came 4th on high bar at Worlds last year. He was the only other guy there doing pagans and Kovacs. So oh man, his bar work is next level. He watered down a little bit in the qualifications, so he went pagan, pikey layout, kind of Kovacs, Coleman, and then he goes Stalder Rebelko, and he aims to catch on handstand. He caught really high, but he caught and started going down sideways, so he had to come off the bar and unfortunately couldn't make it into the finals. The next day, I was watching him doing high bar. I went to high bar shortly after he did. I think he did a 16.7 high bar routine. It was somewhere around the 16.7 mark, which will win him world championships if he hits any given day. So he started with Cassina. He did Stalder Rebelko to L grip, pagan as a third skill, Coleman, stoop full to both hands in under grip, so the E1, stoop half, another Rebelko to Al, a quast. There might have been a Zoldy min or a piked Stalder in there as well, so fully stacked routine. The only thing he could really add for difficulty is to connect the Kovacs or do Brechneider, I suppose. So this is my first day on the bar in Cottbus. This is just back in the training gym with Mitty Morgans from Aussie. Mitty, another guy that connects Kovacs pretty consistently, but he played it smart, did a smart routine in the qualifications, made finals. Don't think it went too good for him in the finals. I forget what happened, but Mitty ended up coming second on P-Bars. So congrats, Mitty. Full name, Mitchell. Almost had that pagan. Yeah, definitely a bit on the scary side doing all these releases when you're jet lagged, and you can probably tell by how I look I'm still jet lagged, but you know, everything's a little bit dizzy, and so you always play it a little bit on the safe side. Like I didn't bother catching any pagans until that last one. I remember I tried to catch, but the ones at the start always going a little bit further to make sure that I'm nowhere close to the bar. Lots of really strong vaulters were in Cottbus and Doha. I'll talk about Doha in another video, but there was some big mistakes on vault at Doha. But in Cottbus you had Artur Davtyan, who I think came second or third at Tokyo Olympics. You had Adem Asil from Turkey, sending double pike half forwards and souk double pike. And that's why traveling in World Cups is such an amazing experience, you know. There's something radiating in the gym when all of these guys are put together in one room. There's a change in the atmosphere. It's something you can't really get. Well, you can't get it when you're training back in your home gym, because you're used to the same old thing every single day. So part of it is just that change, but it's a change into something better and bigger. So, you know, I'm 30 and I'm still enjoying it, but I can't retire until I win one of these things. Which is a good segue to how the competition went. I probably talked about it briefly in the last post, in the last video. So all in all, I made it through both of my routines, and from start to finish, the upsetting part was I got through the difficult part pretty much as good as I can. But it was the easy stuff that let me down. A 10th here, a 10th there, which kept me out of finals. So as pleased as I am that after the 4-month lockdown after Tokyo Olympics, I managed to get a competitive P-bar and high bar together. At the same time, there's a little flavor of disappointment from missing out on finals and missing the opportunity to battle it out for a podium finish. So the other thing that I wanted to do today was answer some questions. Okay, we're back. My phone ran out of memory, and I've had to come back to the video. So I was gonna start with some questions. So we have a couple questions from the last couple of weeks. The first one is from Jurek, who's a gymnast who also trains by himself. I'm not sure what country he trains in, but his question was, do you use any supplements to keep your body healthy? And if so, which ones? Or like exercises you do for prevention of injuries? Supplements. I like mushroom supplements. Sometimes they're called nootropics. So like a nootropic is something, whatever you're doing, it helps your brain settle into that mode. So if you're tired and you want to go to sleep, it'll help you fall asleep. If you're active or creative, it's gonna help you with that too. So I like those, and I make sure that if I'm taking something which is like a nootropic, I'll always give about 2 days rest, usually on the weekend. So I'll take it for a few days and I'll always have some downtime off it. Otherwise it loses its potency. So pretty much the supplements that I'm interested in are supplements for the brain, because my head gets really tired throughout the day. But no protein powders or anything like that. Oh, that left hand barely got on the bar. So, and in terms of exercises I do for prevention of injuries, I don't really do anything too stable. My warm-up is pretty complete. I do quite an active warm-up, but if something is hurt, let's say I roll an ankle, I'll do like a week or so of bungee for it. So it depends if I have any niggles or any injuries. So yeah, there's Brody and Will reacting to my pagan again. Yeah, that second hand was barely getting on the bar. Well, that was only, I think, the first day in the competition gym, so I was still a little bit rusty after the flight. So yeah, so not much supplements. Mike Canales had another question. Would you mind sharing some of your stories or your experience at the Japan Junior International in Yokohama? The Japan Junior International in Yokohama was back in 2009. So that was a long time ago. That's 13 years ago. I remember it being one of my favorite competitions because the top juniors from all over the world gather. I had some really good juniors in my year. So we had Jake Dalton and John Orozco from USA. From Japan we had a couple guys, one of which was Yokoyama Sho, who a lot of you might have seen the latest Kachev front straddle flip on high bar. Not I think Ben Bloom was the first to catch it, but the Japanese gymnast that did it, that's Sho Yokoyama. So he was there as well, and I remember we actually became quite good friends at the competition. Yeah, it's sad I haven't seen him really since then, because he hasn't been to any major internationals because it's so difficult to qualify in Japan. Other than that, yeah, Japan is awesome. I love it. The competition, I think I did really good on floor in the qualifications. I came in first, and then in the finals I was so scared to make a mistake because I knew that I could win. I ended up, I think, having a big step to the side on my 2.5 punch front lat full, and I think that dropped me down to 4th place or something. So I was pretty gutted not to finish on the podium. And the second part of Mike's question: during his time in Australia, what are some pearls of wisdom you picked up from Naoya Tsukahara? What are some training myths you dispelled or lessons you learned about your gymnastics as a result of the pandemic lockdown? So 2 parts to that question. Pearls of wisdom I learned from Naoya Tsukahara. We can take this back to 2010 Australian Nationals and 2014 Australian Nationals. I think both of which Tsukahara was present, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, it's true that he did spend a lot of time training and competing in and for Australia. I think he got some skills named after him at World Championships when he was competing for Australia there. And because I do speak a little bit of Japanese, and he speaks English, so we had some really good long conversations in and out of the gym. I've been getting these twitches lately in my forehead. Must be tired. So Tsukahara to me was like a godly figure. 2004 Olympic champion with the team. They won the team gold in Athens. He was a big part of that team, and he was the superstar of Japan before Hiroyuki Tomita. So most of the athletes that watch this probably don't know too much before Kohei Uchimura's generation, but before Kohei Uchimura was Hiroyuki Tomita. He currently coaches in Juntendo, which is where the Tanigawa brothers train. He had some beautiful gymnastics, and before him was Naoya Tsukahara, who was also a big role model of Kohei Uchimura. So naturally I looked up at this guy, I admired this guy. So I remember I walked over to Pommel Horse for my general warm-up. The floor is usually always taken and busy for the competition warm-up. And he came over and he joined me, and we kind of had the Pommel Horse all to ourselves just to do our general warm-up on. And I asked him something along the lines of being nervous at a competition. I guess I was young, so I was like, needed to say something, needed to kind of communicate to break the ice. So I asked him, do you still get nervous? And he looked at me and just, without any hesitation, said, yes. And I said, is it the same as like when you competed in Athens, or is it much less now? And he said, no, every competition exactly the same. I get really nervous. And that, you know, I wish I understood that earlier. That can save you 10 years of, you know, everybody gets nervous. Everybody gets nervous. The top guys, they get really nervous because you want to succeed, you want to hit your routine, and you know that you might not. No matter how well you've prepared, you know that it's not 100% chance, and you really don't want to mess up. So when he said that, it just brought things down to earth. It really did, because coaches will tell you that, other people will tell you that, but when a guy like that tells you that, it really hits home. You believe it. You don't brush it off. So qualification day 1 is about to start with Jordan on pommel horse. Yeah, you don't brush something like that off from a guy of that caliber. So I guess where I'm going with the whole saving you 10 years, that you know, I thought that I had to get to a point in my gymnastics where I had to be perfect every single turn, every single competition, and that's when you've made it. And that's when I realized that, you know, everybody makes mistakes. I saw him make mistakes. We see the top gymnasts on their proudest make mistakes. So there's no such thing as being perfect every time, and nobody truly knows how to be perfect each time. Such a thing doesn't exist. You know, you hear a lot of people saying that, you know, you have to be talented, and some people just have what it takes. But you know, over the years, I've seen so many guys that are sitting at the top. I see how they train, and good genetics and good talent is a cop-out. They work like crazy. They work like systematically. They're like gymnastics scientists. They understand their body. They know when to stop. They know when to push. They are machines, and that's why they make it to the end. So good genetics, bad genetics. I mean, I'm sure some people are more you know, gifted in terms of specific sports, and everybody has their own abilities. But in the end, the guys that make it are the guys that worked the right way for it. And that's something I'm constantly discovering, how to train and work in a way that's going to maximize your chances of succeeding at competition. So there you go. That's a pearl of wisdom. All those feelings came from that one simple sentence that, yeah, I get nervous every single time. What are some training myths you dispelled or lessons you learned about your gymnastics as a result of the pandemic lockdown? As we look at Will on floor, Will, if only he had that double pike, triple twist probably would have got a 0.3 for pike down and a 0.3 for no prep for landing, as they say. Ethan had a bit of a shocker on floor. Actually, Ethan had a pretty funny 2.5 punch. You'll see it in a little bit. So, lessons that I learned over the lockdown. I learned that I can enjoy gymnastics even without a gym. I did so much P-bars and, you know, tumbling outside on the beaches, and I was really having fun. Not only I was having fun, I was also able to approach those training days, if you can call them that, quite seriously. Pushing myself, you know, doing things that are a bit scary, stood Stiaminov Healy in a setting which is completely foreign to a gymnastics type setting. And I find that enjoyable, and I loved it. So I learned that, you know, even though there it is, you got to rewind it in slow-mo. I'm sorry, Ethan, but I was laughing my ass off watching that so many times. He looks tired, but then he put triple twist on his feet easy as, almost stuck. You'd think he was tired after that 2.5 punch, and then boom, easy peasy. And Ethan's pommel horse. Same thing here, little mistake. I don't want to spoil it, but Ethan made a little mistake on an easy skill. Otherwise, looking good. Okay, forgot what I was talking about, but yeah. Thank you, Mike and Jurek, for your questions.
Musste leider am Balken dreimal absteigen. Das erste Element musste sie schon wieder runter nach dem Angang. Auch bei ihrer Serie musste sie runter und dann noch einen dritten Sturz. Das ist natürlich wirklich bitter so direkt am Anfang. Am Schwebebalken als erste Turnerin da zu performen. Das war ja leider etwas unglücklich.
Ja, die Schwerkraft heute gegen das Schwerkraftverhältnis, wir haben sie auch gesehen im Weg, die ist ja auch gleich. Ein Ausfallschritt nach hinten, wichtig, ein Sprung in dieser Achse zu bleiben, die man mit austreten. Kippabzug kennt man daran, dass dann die rote Fahne geholt wird von den Linienrichtern. Aber mit den 2 Sprüngen denke ich mal nicht, dass er sich da ins Finale turnen können wird.
Der momentan ist auf Platz 4 in der Qualifikation, aber da kommen noch einige hinter ihm. Und natürlich auch unser Matador, Tom Schulze.
Der war Turnier der Meister das letzte Mal hier 9. Vielleicht schafft er das nächste Mal ins Finale. Und wer weiß, vielleicht sogar aufs Podest. Guckt, dass man.
Flak, der leider tot abgewertet wurde. Vorher war er C, jetzt leider nur noch ein B, weil die vermutlich echt zu viele Turnerinnen geturnt haben. Und ja, Abgang hatte sie eine gehoppte 1,5 Schraube rückwärts gemacht, was ein C-Abgang ist. Also somit auch kein Bonus. Und wir sind gespannt auf die Wertung.
Ja, wir haben die Wertung für Cottbus aus Aserbaidschan. Tatsächlich hat der zweite Sprung so ein bisschen runtergezogen auf insgesamt 13,849 momentan Platz hier in der Qualifikation. Und wir werden werfen noch die Wertung daher für die Polen am Schwebebalken momentan 5 in der Qualifikation 11, 1, 3, 3.
Come on, let's get it! Fight! Come on! Come on! Come on, baby! Let's go! Come on, baby! Come on! Come on, baby! Let's get it! Let's go!
Genau, der finde nicht schlecht. Sein erster Sprung 14, 2, 3, 3. Das ist überraschend gut. Medias, der gleich nachlegt.
Das, was sie jetzt machen, möchte man natürlich jetzt auch viel sehen wollen.
Popo! Hey! Hey! Hey!
Der Gesamtwertung war mit Rang 12 in der Qualifikation.
Hey!
Zeigt, wie hart das Feld ist.
Neuseeländer sind 15 Jahre alt.
Hey!
Und
Nice, come on. Come on.
We got this big platter, and it was the most American restaurant you could go to, probably. A bunch of guys I saw do it, actually.